Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here at the Strategist here. It's May 28th, and make sure you're muted, please. We have a special guest this morning. I met Jill Lublin about a month ago, today and yesterday. And Jill talks about publicity for small business owners. So when I heard her talk, she and I had a phone call, and I thought, oh, she could be really a valuable asset to this community. So I asked her if she would consider being a speaker here. And she said, yes. Dave, why are you unmuted? I'm muting you. You're always noisy, but I love you anyway. So, so Jill is going to talk to us today about publicity. Now, Jill sent me her bio. And Jill, I have like 400 windows open here. It would take me 5 minutes to find your bio here. So how about if you start by giving us your bio a little bit and then just go on into what you have to share with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, first of all, I'm delighted to be here and grateful to connect with all of you today. I'm the author of 4 books. They're actually right behind me, which is a book on referrals and guerrilla publicity I wrote, and The Profit of Kindness. That's my latest one. And I've been helping entrepreneurs, businesses of all kinds, speakers, authors, coaches, consultants, to actually get your word out and increase visibility. I teach a publicity course, which I can tell you about at the end. And really my focus has also been helping people get book deals without a word written. So that's pretty exciting. And I want to talk to you today about the power of your message and really getting your name out there in this time and in every time. Because here's what I want to tell you. You know, obviously we're all coming out of an intense moment. It will continue, frankly, to be wild times. And I think, honestly, in my opinion, if you're planning and smart and connected to your message, this is a great time for the power of publicity. So I want you to know that with publicity, you actually plan ahead 3, 6, and 9 months. So what you're doing is I want you to consider your process of publicity like a gardening process. Bear with me just one moment. Still got my morning voice. It's like a gardening process, right? You gotta plant seeds and grow your publicity garden. Now, what I mean by that is I want you to start thinking about, where do I want to be 3, 6, and 9 months from now? You know, when I wrote Guerrilla Publicity, I was really privileged to talk to, well, the editor of Fast Company and Entrepreneur Magazine. Imagine what it would be like for you to be in either of those, right? And one of the things they actually really underline was that it's all about the value and benefit you give others. So with that in mind, I want you to start thinking about your message. And I would like to give you a simple and powerful formula for creating a message that matters. And so here it is, write it down. It's very simple, but it's actually 24 years of PR experience and working with thousands of people around the world. And here it is. I want you to fill in this blank. The problem today is, like I would say, the problem today is 4 out of 5 businesses will go out of business because you have no clue how to create publicity without spending a fortune. It's really simple. And I want you to speak in simple language. I want you to use 5-year-old language, 5-year-old language. And I think that's really a key. So, you know, one of the things, for instance, is the ability to translate messages. And one thing I think is key is translating messages. I remember a gentleman came running up to me one time after I spoke, and he goes, "Joe, I really want to work with you." I'm like, "Great, Ryan, what do you do?" He said he's an instructional designer. And I'm like, "Well, what's that?" And then he told me. And I'm like, "Ryan, no offense, I don't think that's going to get you publicity. Tell me your story. Ryan told me that he'd been downsized from a corporate job. I'm like, oh, you mean fired? Yeah, he'd been fired. At that time, he had a pregnant wife with their third child on the way. And he had just bought a big house. Now he's got a big mortgage payment, a big wife who's pregnant, and no job. And I'm like, Ryan, what'd you do? He said, well, I started my own company and online. Literally, he had 8 employees within 24 hours doing virtual instructional design. I thought, well, now that's interesting. So I said to Ryan, you know what you are? And he looked at me like maybe a little scared. He goes, what? What am I? I said, you are a virtual office warrior. Virtual office warrior spells vow. Ryan took a vow, I mean, that's the acronym, never to work in an office again. Do you know that story got him in the front page of the San Francisco Chronicle, the San Francisco Business Times? Actually, the headline said, you too can vow never to work in an office again. They took the whole headline. I loved it. Do you know that story also got him into Entrepreneur Magazine? Imagine what it would do for your business to be in Entrepreneur Magazine. It got him in Mac Home Journal. It got him in Home Office Computing. It got him in literally place after place. And that was the power of using the right story. But Ryan also, I want you to hear, used everything. I call it use everything you've got. In his case, he's Asian American. And although he doesn't speak a word of Chinese, what we did was we translated his articles and put them into the Chinese Times. Now, do you know that one article in the Chinese Times resulted in $7,200 worth of business for Ryan? Literally, one article translated into that. So I'm really big on the power of publicity, creating for you return on investment. I want you to have more credibility, more visibility. This is what publicity actually does for you. It also gives you leverage and trust in the marketplace. It also enables, I'll call it bragging rights, because see, the really super wonderful thing is that once you have it once, you're in, and it's constant and it's continuous, and it's the value is ever giving. It's like there's an expression, I can't think of it right now, but the gift that keeps on giving. That's it. The gift that keeps on giving, because what it also gives you is prospects, sales, and clients. I had a woman, she developed this really cute bra strap, because I think you ladies know what I mean. You know what happens, right? That you always see those silly bra straps. And so she thought, well, I'm going to make some pretty ones. She sells them for $25. And do you know that we got in one blog, this is the power of publicity. Her product was $25. She sold 600 of them from being in one blog. Okay. Now, my friends, that was a $15,000 day. I'd say that's a good day, right? So the power of using your message, identifying what the problem today is, and then I want you to give 3 solutions. Like, tell people what to do, but tell them what to do in what I call appetizers, not full meals, right? Because you don't want to give away the whole story. You want to give away some powerful tips. You want to speak it in 5-year-old language, and you want to keep it really, really simple. One of my clients, she's a relationship expert, and right now she's on WGN in Chicago. She's on multiple Fox News, radio, TV interviews. Why? Because it's a pandemic, and as much as we were doing a story around the power of communication, how to communicate effectively, we shifted our story because of the problem today is, right? And now Christine is going out with a powerful story around how to communicate in pandemic times. My parenting expert is going out with how to raise your children and homeschool without tearing your hair out. Who can relate to that, right? And we want to create messages that matter, that ongoingly support the visibility factor of what your message is putting out, so that people keep coming to you. So what I'd like to do is, give you mine and just tell you how it works. Bear with me. So I would say something like, The problem today is 4 out of 5 businesses will go out of business because you have no clue how to create publicity without spending a fortune. I want to give you 3 guerrilla publicity tips today for how to get your message in the media. And by the way, my friends, take notes. This is thousands of dollars of PR advice in very simple messages. That's a side note, I'm telling you. So my first tip to you is to create your ooh, ah factor. And if you want to get noticed, create the I've heard of you somewhere syndrome. And my third tip to you is focus on networking magic and show up in your communities at least twice a month for name and face recognition. And that's my tips. Really simple, if you notice, really 5-year-old language. That's bringing and condensing 24 years of publicity knowledge into very simple little nuggets for you. That's what I want for you, is simple nuggets that translate. And then I want to give you, and Jean, do you want me to answer any questions, or what would best serve here? Whoops, you're on mute.
My dogs were barking. Which means something different than other people, right? My dogs are actually barking. Yeah, if you guys have questions, unmute yourself, raise your hands, and then let's do that, the participants, and I'll call on them, and then you can ask Colleen, Jill the question. I was just talking to Colleen Biggs. So
yes, and let me just, if I may, one more thing.
Sure.
So because I saw Bob asked, what are the 3 points again? So I'm going to repeat them.
Yes,
so
please.
The problem today is 4 out of 5 businesses will go out of business because you have no clue how to create publicity without spending a fortune. I want to give you 3 guerrilla publicity tips today for how to get your message in the media. The first way to get noticed is to create your ooh, ah factor. Mm-hmm. The second way is to create the I've heard of you somewhere syndrome. And the third way is focus on networking magic and show up in your communities at least twice a month for name and face recognition. And that, my friends, is it. So simple. Keep it simple. I want you to create a message that matters so that people continue to listen to you and then frankly ask you, like they do me, Jill, ooh, what's that ooh, ah factor? You know, it's precious, and that's what you want to create.
Thank you.
Okay, Jean, go ahead.
Awesome. All right, so Deb Frew, now all the hands went away. So you guys, every single hand just disappeared. So Deb Frew, you got your hand up first. You want to go?
Yeah, that was the reason all the hands went down is there was an audio glitch when Jill was giving her 3 points.
Oh, is that why?
Yes.
Well, if you had a question, raise your hand again. So that's what you needed. You needed the 3 points again. So, well, maybe what you could do then is ask Jill if what you think is ooh ah is really ooh ah. Mm-hmm. Right? What is it about your business that you think is ooh and Jill's thinking ooh, right? So ask the question, right? So
the other thing you can practice is, how about to use everything you've got? Let me just give you something. There's a woman I dealt with. She's a stress consultant. Why is she a stress consultant? Well, because she had breast cancer, frankly, almost lost her life, gets divorced like at the start of this. You can imagine the stress of all that. And as she said, I learned stress because of trial by fire. And frankly, she ended up also in Cosmopolitan magazine because of my help for her in translating her message. She ended up with a book that she'd wanted to write for over 3 years because of my support in helping her with her message and putting it together in a way. So I want you to hear that she didn't understand what her message was and how to put it all together until I also said to her, hey, Lauren, how about we take your message and put it out in Breast Cancer Awareness Month, right? Because she was thinking stress, not breast cancer. So in her case, that's using everything she's got. What could you be using that maybe you haven't thought about using before, part of your personal story, like Ryan, I told you his story. By using his personal story, let me just tell you, Ryan enjoyed months and months, I'm talking actually over 6 months worth of powerful publicity ongoingly in business journals, in Entrepreneur Magazine, in Mac Home Journal. Ryan and I laughed because, he goes, Jill, I don't even have a Mac. You don't have to have a Mac to get into Mac Home Journal. You just have to have a great story that's relevant and applies. So I want you to be thinking through, as we talk about this, how can you be using everything you've got? Anybody want to throw out a question or one of those as we, I know we're coming to a close a bit, but.
Karen has a question. I'm sorry, Jill. Go ahead, Karen.
Please.
So Jill, thinking about that, creating your I factor, I am working with Young Living essential oils, and I've got 2 different passions. One is I watched my parents be on so many medications, and I'd love to have people look at the natural alternatives. The other one is the chemical free. Could you give me any ideas on how to create an I factor with that?
Absolutely. So here's the thing. Well, first of all, and by the way, I love Young Living's essential oils. Joy is my favorite. I love that. So, here's yes, I love it. Here's the thing about essential oils, here's what I don't want you to get caught on. This is for everybody. It's not about what you're selling per se or offering. And by the way, we're all selling something. We're all promoting something. So please get comfortable with it. Yep. It's a gift. That's how I see it. It's your gift, right? And so what I talk about is how to relax more, how to use natural remedies to clean your house, how toxins are killing us in our environment. Right? And take a more like toxicity story is how I would do it, and talk more about that. But why do you care about that? Because of your mother and father dying, right? And so we work in to the story, what's clear about you, what's your offer about why your passion is there. And then I want to say, so thank you. So I want to say on the same related subject, don't forget to include what is important about you. I have a woman, she's my client, she runs a nonprofit. She takes people to Uganda and treats on medical missions. And she treated over 5,000 people in like 4 days. I mean, she's like a miracle worker. And I said to her name is Precious, and she really is precious. I said to her, Precious, you keep forgetting to tell people you're a nurse. She's a neuroscientist nurse, but she was so excited about her nonprofit and her work there that she forgot to include, I'm a nurse. And she's not alone. I mean, yesterday I was working in my publicity course with a woman. She's an attorney who actually is now a speaker and a ventriloquist and uses humor to engage leaders and enlighten others. And, I said, hey, Bonita, we got to include the fact that you're an attorney, right? I mean, she's not a trained attorney now, meaning she's not practicing now is what I mean. But what's interesting is that she has that training. So I want you to think, what's in your credibility baggage, so to speak, luggage? What did you earn? What degrees? What did you train for that you could include? Because it's interesting. Right? And, I'll share with you that, like, I went to law school for 1 year. By the way, I always wanted to be an attorney. I thought that would be the way I could actually make a difference in this world. And then I went to law school. And for my creative, highly imaginative mind, that was not the right place, and actually dropped out in a year. Much to my father's chagrin, I might add. But, when I was in law school, I found my path, which was actually, I started working in the music business as the director of promotion and publicity for independent record labels. So here's what I want to say to you. This is what I found was my purpose and my passion, even in the midst of the wrong path, right? But sometimes, I mean, actually, I don't usually tell people that story, but today I decided, okay, well, that's interesting. Like, what is it that's in part of your path that could be an interesting part of your story? Because sometimes you're going to bring it in. Sometimes I bring the mental illness of my family in. Sometimes I bring my crazy mother in. I mean, whatever it is, right? You all will have different parts of your story that sometimes will be present and focused and be the most important part of your story in that moment. So, you know, it depends what's needed. But I will tell you, I like to call it, use everything you've got. Use everything you've got.
Okay. Thank
Jean,
you.
what
That
would
was
best serve next?
Thank you. Deb Frew, you had a hand up?
Yes, thank you. Thanks, Jill. I throw a networking event every year for psychics and alternative practitioners because we have been all brainwashed to compete with each other, and I was so tired of it after 30 some years of being in that fighting for clients game that I decided that we were going to come together in cooperation, not competition. And it's really popular. I sell out every year. This year we're not doing it. But my biggest problem is getting the word out. So that's my big goal this year, is to figure out how to do that.
Okay, good. So a couple things. One is I challenge you to maybe consider doing your event again. Can I tell you, I mean, I do my publicity course virtually. I have more people wanting to be in this than even travel to the different states where I did it every month live. Okay, so I'm going to say there's a possibility you could actually do it again. And what I love, you know, the groups I'm part of is a networking organization, for example. I get to go to the Palm Beach meeting, even though I'm in California. I get to, you know, not have to put on my makeup for the 7:30 in the morning meeting that I used to hate to go to because it was an hour away, that I get to now attend virtually, right?
I'm
So
actually
anyway, I'll just say that.
trying to incorporate that this year. I'm looking to put on a
Beautiful.
virtual event this year. But in the meantime, the one where I need to have physical bodies come to the event, which are really, really, really fun. That's a challenge I haven't figured out.
Got it. Okay, so for you, and by the way, one of the record labels I actually worked for was one of the biggest new age music labels there was. And we ended up doing so well with the power of publicity that we actually got sold to Windham Hill, which is a beautiful jazz label, right? And so one of the things I always say, I learned my publicity skills through music, through the music business, because it's actually all about perception. And I've actually worked a lot with spiritual healers, teachers, and here's what I know. You have to find the message that works, right? Because, so for one, for example, he is a Ayurvedic doctor. People didn't even know what that meant. And he was a little out there, we'll say. And so what I did was I turned his message into how to eat better. How to eat better. Okay, now the good news for you is that throughout the US at least, and actually around the world, there are metaphysical magazines, spiritual magazines, and different kinds, particularly in that genre. So, you know, this is for all of you. What's your target, right? If it's women's magazines, in your case, we'll call them spiritual and transformational magazines, new podcasts, blogs. And so I'd like you to just, and this is for all of you too, go into, for instance, iTunes and see what podcasts are there when you put in the word spiritual or psychic. Okay, because I know they're there. And for the rest of you, translate that for your messages. What's the main word, the key word that you could put into iTunes, that you could put into, let's call it LinkedIn if you're more in business, or Instagram, you know, whatever platform, social media drug of choice you're using, put the word into there so that you can find what people are after. Okay, so I think that's real key. But for you, what I would do is really use the spiritual media as your main message. And I think that will be a good one.
Thank you.
You bet.
We have
Jean, I think we might have time for maybe one more, if even that.
Yeah, I have a 10:30 call, but I will stay for, Agnes had her hand up. She was the last one. So we'll go ahead and do that if you've got time, Jill. Are you good?
Okay,
Jill?
sure.
Okay, go ahead, Agnes.
Yes, I have time for that. Yeah,
Thank you.
go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm sort of in the same realm of work. I'm a former nurse. I work with women over 50, and my message is about women who feel lonely. That's the problem I solve, or procrastinate, feel stuck. I help them find more joy and connection. And I'm finding issues reaching my market, or even I don't know, getting them to engage.
Okay, so I'm hearing, well, just a little bit, you're having some technical issues. So I just want to address different, as a whole, getting people to engage, okay? And so here's what I know in working with thousands of people over many years, is the issue is, where's your audience? What are they reading? What are they listening to? What are they watching? When I talk about publicity, I mean all of it, my friends. I mean, TV, radio, I mean newspapers, I mean podcasts and blogs. So I want you to think about, where are the people, and by the way, your social media platform, and that message I gave you this morning, hey, guess what? You can use that everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. You can use it in networking on your Zoom meetings. You can use it in your connected opportunities for getting your name out there consistently. You can use it in your media messages, but I want you to keep and be consistent with your message. That's the key. All right, so Jean, may I, if I may, let them know how they can connect to and work with me?
Absolutely, I would love that. Thank you.
You're so welcome. So let me just say, if any of you have books or book ideas, I do and happy to talk to you about that. I've been doing that for over 18 years, and excitedly can tell you of many, many people I've helped to get a book deal without a word written. Jean, if you could help me in the chat, put in jilllublin.com/schedule. Happy to talk to you about your particular projects or what you want to use. And there's 3 L's in the middle there, jilllublin.com/schedule. Now, here's the other super.
Is it Jill?
jilllublin.com/schedule.
Oh, okay, sorry. That's
jilllublin.com/schedule. And then I want to tell you that I teach a virtual publicity course, like no nonsense, get it done. If you like this, imagine spending the day with me. Roll up our sleeves, get it done, no kidding. And you are actually going to get 3 actual messages done, your different parts of what the media needs done in one day. So I think you're going to really love this. If you could actually put publicitycrashcourse.com, Jean, on this one. Oh, you there? Publicitycrashcourse.com.
here, I'm getting it.
/registration. I can't hear you, but publicitycrashcourse.com/registration.
Gotcha.
And then put in the code stay visible. All lowercase, all one word. All lowercase, all one word. Okay, so my friends, here's the thing. Like all of you, I've been looking at what can I do in my business. And I took my publicity course, and go look at it, publicitycrashcourse.com. It was over $1,000, and I made it, I'm literally calling it pandemic pricing, and I'm going to offer it to you for only $197. So it's a super offer to get your message out there, to create your visibility, and to do it in the right way. And I'm going to spill all the secrets, because I owned a PR agency and I know how to do this. And I'm going to help you create that message that matters and all the documents you need, plus easy templates that you can use for any project that you ever use again. So please join me. and it'd be my pleasure to serve you. They're on different days. You can go look them up, and we have a powerful and connected time together to get your message out. And I look forward to the opportunity to serve those who choose, and excited to be with you to help you make your message matter. It's a delight to be with all of you this morning.
Jill, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for coming in and chatting with our group here. They have been amazing entrepreneurs to work with for the last 10 weeks. So I'm always grateful to bring somebody who's got something valuable to share with them that's outside of the scope of things that I do. So thank you for being here. I so appreciate it. You guys go check out the opportunities that Jill is sharing with us and connect with her. If you'd like to get on her calendar, it's right there in the chat. Save the chat, go click that and save it right now, please. And Jill, I'm gonna say thank you, and we're gonna log off because I'm supposed to be someplace else 5 minutes ago. So, all right.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you, bye-bye.
Thank you, Jill.
No helpline today, no helpline today.
Thank
So
you.
I'll see you later. Merelda, I'm sticking on here to rebook you. Okay, so can you do tomorrow at 1 o'clock? Oh, you're mute. I'm gonna unmute you. You're unmuted.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can do any time between 1 and 3 tomorrow. So I mean,
Can we
starting at 3.
Can we do 2 p.m. instead of 1 p.m.?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay.
So let me, Lynn Dietrich doesn't know it, but she's got 3 hours blocked tomorrow that I'm going to reschedule for her because she doesn't know yet, but it'll be okay. I hope, but I'm not going to worry about it. She's awesome that way. So 2 p.m. tomorrow, right? On Thursday,
Yep.
Thursday, not today. Thursday, tomorrow. Okay, got it. Okay, I will see you tomorrow, and thank you so much. And then next week will be on Wednesday. It's just going to be that last.
You know you're recording this piece, so don't forget to.